Well, I figure for my first topic, I'd go ahead and talk about kind of what you were alluding to earlier. So, like with The Mandalorian, so like one of the actresses in that series is Gina Carano, and like basically Disney phrased it because I didn't have like all the facts of this case. Like I'm kind of conflicted. I don't know how I feel on it just because I don't know exactly how things went down. But basically, Disney came out and said that they didn't fire her exactly. They said they basically she hasn't worked with them and they don't intend to work with her in the future. So they basically made it sound like they just didn't hire her back, but really it sounds like a firing. But I thought it just happened with this latest tweet she did, and apparently not, because apparently apparently there was a plan, one of those new Disney series that they announced. Remember when I went over that whole list? Like there was one called like Rangers of the New Republic, and I guess like it was thought that that was going to be a series that really focused on her character. And then they apparently changed it because they didn't announce that part of it in that December press conference. So basically, though, this latest tweet she made, it was kind of a weird tweet because it basically compared being a conservative today to being a Jew during like Holocaust times. And it didn't come across as she was being like anti-Semitic. It was just, to me, like a weird, really weird take, and like not a good take. Like,
she was basically, there was something on the lines like the conservative people were being like a form of persecution, like they're being blacklisted.
Yeah. So it was a kind of a harsh, comparison. But
and then they're like, "You're blacklisted."
But I didn't. Well, and that's what I'm getting at is I don't think I think they got rid of her before that tweet because apparently she's had a history of saying things that ruffled feathers. Like for one, I guess at one point, like in her Twitter bio where it says like pronouns, she put like beep bop boop, like kind of making.
I was trying to think of some stupid ass thing to put in.
Making light of that, and so that ruffled some feathers. Now, like don't get me wrong. That's like a kind of smart assy thing to do. But even I, like someone who's like, for trans rights and everything, like I've made light of the whole like Zimzer thing, like not in a shitty way, but there's like is a degree of silliness there. I've never had any, malintent though. And then I guess she's like posted things like, anti-vaxxer stuff, and she posted like, stuff basically in favor of saying that the election was stole from Trump. Just kind of, the outlandish, far right stuff that I see in my Facebook feed from my relatives, that kind of shit. And so part of me is like, I don't know if has said, now I can't pretend to know everything she's ever posted, so maybe at one point she did post something that was over the line, I don't know. But like if it's just this kind of stuff, like obviously she's somebody who couldn't be further from me politically, but I don't know if any of those things are bad enough that they should have fired her. But at the same time, the reason I can't say I totally disagree with Disney is if they gave her enough heads up, and gave her several warnings, which they very well may have done. She might have just dug her own grave. So I don't really know. What do you think on it?
I mean, in general, I'm against the whole cancel culture. I mean, there's room to let people have their own beliefs. I mean, even if they're outlandish. And I don't know, it's just too much. I'm tired of it, and I feel like it's barely started. I
mean, I will say I get it to the point of like on the business side of things where if they think she is alienating a large enough amount of their audience to where it's actually costing them money, I understand it. Like if somebody actually like says something that's genuinely like, homophobic or racist, that's going to, cut off a segment of their fan base to their show, like that I understand because that's going to hit them in the pocketbook. But, something like along the lines of, these comments she's made, I haven't heard one yet that I'm like, yeah, they should fire her,
Yeah.
So, it's Now, what do you think about this? Because I heard other people discussing this, and like a guy was talking about how he took a job once where, basically, as a condition of employment, because he was working at some sort of publication, and they're like, if you're going to work here, you can't show, a political bias, so you can't make any tweets that are political in nature because, like, this is a paper, and we don't want to show like we're skewed one way or the other. And like as a condition of employment, he agreed to that. But do you think it's fair of a company to ask an employee not to post political comments?
I mean, it seems more fair that you're just being upfront about it. It's not like you're just going along and they're like, oh, here you go, fuck off.
Now, what would you think if Disney was like to people they're employing is like, hey, we don't like conservative stuff. We don't want you to post that kind of stuff. Would that be fair?
I mean, ultimately, I still think it's okay. I mean,
as long as they're upfront about it.
Well, I mean, I think it's morally easier. Like, if they don't want to hire, I feel like if you don't want to hire somebody for any reason whatsoever, then that should be your business. Because it is your business.
Well, it can't be for any reason, like sex, race, that sort of thing.
Even then, I wouldn't care.
What, really?
If someone wants to open Nazi donuts over here, I'm just not going to buy anything from them. I mean, I'm sure some people would, but...
Well, let's say they don't open something as blatant as Nazi donuts. They just open a regular donut shop, but then they refuse to hire anybody of color. And you as a consumer probably wouldn't even notice.
Somebody would tell me. Come on.
Okay.
I'm gonna know.
But it's not like they tell the applicants they reject. Oh, we rejected you based on your race. It might not be something that's super apparent.
No.
I mean, I feel like run your business the way you want, and if that doesn't fit people's whatever, then they shouldn't buy from you.
Well, I just feel like
I still buy from Amazon. I don't agree with everything they do.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is, it just seems silly to try to regulate everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just like, I remember like on a really early episode, maybe like episode 2, we kind of went over the tweets that the guy that plays Ralph Dibny on The Flash made that got him fired, and kind of thought, even though they were like some weird tweets in there, like none of them I don't think warranted him getting fired. And so, yeah,
we debated that one right there. He had some stuff I thought was weird, but I don't remember it right now.
It was weird, but it wasn't. It seemed like he was trying for a joke, and it just didn't land, Yeah. But to me, he didn't tweet anything that would warrant him getting fired.
But at the end of the day, I mean, unless it was like somebody really crazy, like I wouldn't stop watching Disney or anybody because of an actor. I mean, if it was like Hitler, then might be like, nah, I don't want to support this channel. But I don't know.
I got to say, the cancel culture stuff hits me worse when it is somebody obviously going for a joke, because it's just like when Disney fired James Gunn years ago because
he's back on, right?
Yeah, they eventually came to their senses and hired him back on, but he had made some bad Twitter jokes like 10 years prior or something, and they fired him. And it's like, not only had there been that much time that passed, but you could obviously tell, even though maybe they were bad jokes, you could tell he was going for a joke.
10 years later, you're not the same person usually. It's
not only that, but are you telling me that nobody on the Disney PR team knew about that before they hired him to do Guardians 1?
Yeah.
I bet you somebody knew. But yeah, I bet we're going to continue in the future to have some of these cancel culture conversations. It's kind of becoming a regular thing.
I think it's just going to be something that personally chafes my butt, but at the end of the day, I'll support, hiring, firing who they want.
You got to figure though, eventually there's going to be a rubber band effect.
I think so. And even like that Gina, like she got picked up by Ben Shapiro, and I guess she's going to have I don't know if it's like a piece or bid or.
That's so weird though. Yeah, I heard about that. Like I don't know if they're making a movie or what, but that's going to suck. Whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
No, I think she's. Well, she said something about fighting a cancel culture and like so. I don't know. I'm guessing she's going to be like a pundit or something.
I mean, maybe.
I thought she was going to do like a movie.
Yeah, I thought I heard there was going to be a movie or something.
Maybe it is a movie. I don't
but
know.
it's like Ben Shapiro isn't in like does he make
it's kind of
movies?
random.
It's so weird and random.
I think it's just to capitalize on it. Like she's got a fan base. Let's make a movie. Let's try to get some money out of it because they make those Christian movies all the time too.
That's the thing. It's going to be like one of those. Only you know.
Anytime the pendulum swings one way, you can be sure it's going to swing back the other way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we'll get away from it, but it just seems frivolous and like I don't know. It just doesn't sit with me very well.
Yeah, me either.
I don't mind it.
All right, AJ, we'll swing it back to you.
Part of what it is it just feels like the mob mentality, and it's like everything I don't like about humanity and I feel is stupid is kind of encapsulated. And so I think that's part of what drags me into it.
Yeah, but that same thing is like racism and all that other stuff. Like,
well, you know. I'm not pining up for racism either.
Yeah, but this is how you fight it. Like, that is the rubber band to racism, isn't it? Like, that is the other side of it.
Well, I mean, Well, yeah, there definitely I think it was a rubber band there. And the thing is, like, I felt like things were a lot calmer for like the last 20 years than they are right now, which is kind of weird.
Quieter, like not so spoken of. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what that's about, but yeah, it fluctuates.